I
Hello,
miss those
everybody.
loud. I miss the loud crag in my ears. It's been too long.
We've missed you, buddy.
This is Dissonant Waves with episode proper 20. Everyone's back finally. We got Ritalin, we got Tricks, we
Yes.
got yours truly, Dominic.
How can you even remember that it's episode 20?
I've been waiting
I
for this
think
for like 3 or 4 weeks.
I think for the episode I just uploaded, I just wrote season 2, episode whatever.
Yeah, I should probably go and change that.
I also have a list that tells me the episode titles and numbers.
Well, look at
But-
Mr. Domino here with a list.
Look at Mr. Domino giving a shit.
No? We're gonna listen to 6.5 hours for this podcast, so you might as well do it officially, you know?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Anyway, we're not doing any of that right now. We're talking about more stuff from the year 2020. We're finally done with our little side trips into K-pop and Green Day for now. And we come back to the world of new releases. This week, we have artists like Allie X, Beach Bunny, and Tame and Impala. Everyone clap now.
It looks like you're trying to make it like a much more like impactful announcement with Tame and Impala, but truth be told, when you announce that you're listening to Tame and Impala, nothing you do is impactful.
Oh man.
That just sums up this whole podcast, doesn't it? Nothing's impactful, nothing matters. It's the slow rush. It's the Cape God.
Which is
It's the honeymoon.
All right. So which
Which
album
one have
should
we
we
gotta
start
start?
with,
Yeah.
guys?
What's one do we have the least to talk about?
which one did we all hate the most?
Tame Impala.
Well, fuck you.
20.
Well,
We all have least favorites. Is that what this is going on?
as no one has mentioned anything,
Beach Bunny.
let's not Allie X first.
All
Because
right.
I can't
fine.
remember a damn thing about it, and I want to get that over and done with.
All
I really
right, well,
enjoyed this
acquiesce.
album.
I liked Allie X as well. Cape God
I think this was my favorite album.
probably is mine. I don't know for sure. I mean, it probably is. Tame Impala is good. I got into that. But
I
yeah,
could
Allie,
not vibe with Tame Impala.
it's a thing. We'll get into it then. I mean, Allie X, very interesting pop star. She's like 35, 34, and has been kind of going at it for a while. She's from Canada. She moved to LA and kind of reinvented her image, and it's kind of donned her current persona. And I believe she describes Allie X being like the algebra variable X, which is like, could be anything. It's kind of unknowable. And I think her thing is like once she figures out her,
That is very pretentious.
I think her thing is like once she figures out her journey, her life, its X will be solved, and she'll be called something else.
I put an X at the end of my name. It's fucking algebra. Fucking mystery.
The other fun thing about Allie X is that she is she's a prominent songwriter. She writes for a lot for Troye Sivan, and they have a feature. He's featured on this album, but like she's written a lot of like songs for his albums. So there's a weird connection there because they also wrote on the BTS stuff. So all these episodes interconnect. It's all weird.
Yeah. The Dissonant Waves cinematic universe.
Exactly. You understand now. But Cape God, let's talk about it.
It's boring.
It was pretty fun.
Thank you. I've been Ritalin. You can catch me up.
I think this album has a lot of ups and downs. It really goes for a lot of highs, has a couple lows, but it's kind of like a good wavy pattern. For every Love Me Wrong and Life of the Party, there's also irregulars. So there's kind of yin and yang.
I mean, this is the album that I've probably listened to the least out of any album that I've listened to before going into it. It just, every time I was kind of, like the first time I listened to it, went kind of fresh into it, and then the second time it's like, and I just never listened to it a third time. I've listened to Fresh Laundry, I think a couple other times, just out of random, but again, nothing grabbed me on this. It's a real
Fresh
nothing
Laundry.
album for me to talk to about. I mean, maybe you two got a lot more from it than I did, but
I mean, I'm just kind of like a closet pop head. I think we've learned.
how many
I
closet
don't
jokes
care.
are we allowed to make on this podcast?
As many as we goddamn want.
No, I thought Fresh Laundry and Devil I Know were both really good, strong openers. People compare Devil I Know to Why Do You Always Call Me When I'm High, which I think is valid, but it's a fun song. It
reminded
has a
me
lot of
of
attitude. Was it?
It reminded me of a Rainbow Kitten surprise song.
Saying. I could see that too.
No,
I
I
guess.
can understand. I understand why that bass line is. It feels definitely heavily inspired.
Maybe, but you can never really prove those kinds of things. There's only so many ways to do.
You can't prove it in a court of law.
There's that Mitski feature, Susie Save Your Love, which took me a few times before I realized that Mitski was singing in the second verse. I thought it was all just Allie X, and they were lying about Mitski being there. They sound enough alike that I did not pick up on it at all.
Yeah, actually, when Blink-182 did a lineup change to have Matt Skiba in it, and then they released Bored to Death,
You couldn't tell
I
the
just
difference.
thought it was Mark Hoppus the whole time, and then the music video came out or something. It's like a little lyric video. It's like it's Matt Skiba. I was like, what the fuck?
But I mean,
it's hard to miss Tom DeLonge. I can
Well,
understand Mansky, but
Yeah, those two had such a like their voices are quite distinct from each other.
this album isn't all hits. I think there's some of the stuff that's kind of pretentious, kind of, a little, I don't know what the word is, haughty. Like Super Duper Party People, which people seem to think on the internet is like the standout track. It's kind of a clubby track. I appreciate kind of the dancey vibes. But I kind of got the vibe of like a cool mom at a dance club with her kids, like looking around at all the
that makes a
people.
lot of sense.
It just did not come across as super cool. Like she's trying, but it doesn't quite land. And I felt kind of
How do you
bad.
do,
But
fellow kids?
yeah, kind of like that.
See, I haven't listened to it enough to get a full opinion, so I'm just gonna search up what Indie Heads thinks the greatest track of this album is. There we go.
Okay, what do they say?
Ash Pop Heads.
I'm going to talk for a minute then while you're looking for that. I also think Madam X is also a song that is, it's about ecstasy. We get it. Sure. Okay. And I'm pretty sure Madam X is like a Madonna album. I'm almost certain.
It is. It is.
Okay, yeah. So she's claimed the Madonna is like a big influence for her. Great. But that's kind of far, I think. Oh yeah, it's like her latest album.
Alright, so my favorite song off here now is Susie Save Your Love.
Great, thanks.
That was a good one. The only thing I can think of now, just as a sidetrack, when I think of Madonna, is the fucking that Hillary Clinton put out of her and Madonna dancing.
I just think of the song "Bitch" on Madonna because holy fuck. Minaj on it.
But none of us will ever be Madonna. We have to deal with that pain each second of our lives.
Susie Save Your Love is interesting, but I think it's weird to have both Sarah Come Home and Susie Save Your Love on this album because they both kind of feel like they're about similar things, like they're kind of in the same wheelhouse. So I don't know. There's like, I think there's a lot, like some of these songs are really good and really solid, and then some of them are like, I don't know about that.
Look, if it's a Mitski song about and she's singing about how nobody will love her, then it's the best Mitski song.
I also really like June Gloom because it starts out kind of abrasive and like a little weird, but then it has like the catchiest piano fucking hook I've heard in a long time for the chorus. It is so cool. Like I love it.
Yeah, June Gloom was. I'm definitely gonna have to.
What?
I'm definitely gonna have more time with this album.
Yeah.
Although I will give a praise to this album now, that I will say that it has an incredibly fitting album art, which anytime an album has that, that's something to praise. This is one of those ones where you can kind of just look at the album art and you kind of understand what music you're gonna hear.
Yeah, it's like I think it's her in a cave with like a smoke machine or something.
And she's holding a stick.
Like she's in the Shire and covering some new long lost amazingness or something.
Yeah.
It's a bit much, I will say, but
it's pretentious.
Yeah, well, the album's pretentious as well, so
True.
kind of
Okay,
fitting.
I mean, you know, Learning in Public is a great Alanis Morissette song, so I don't know about that, but no one doesn't win for anyone. All right,
I'm not an Alanis
Morissette. I haven't listened to any Alanis Morissette.
I know she has a song called "Ironic."
Isn't it? It's like 10,000 spoons when you just need a knife or whatever, and none of them are examples of irony.
It's all rainy Canadian music.
I'm not Canadian.
Neither am
I can't understand Canada jokes. But
I'm
I have an album
Canadian.
in here called. I have an album in here called Canada Songs. Does that count?
So,
And like I said, I don't think Daughters is Canadian, but I could be wrong.
I first listened to this album, I was really on board with it, and then as time went on, I started noticing more of the faults. So at the end of the day, I'm kind of mixed, but leaning toward positive. There's a lot of really strong stuff.
I think it's the best of what we've done.
These three, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think of these three.
No, Allie is better than Neutral Milk Hotel and the Avalanches.
I'm talking about these three.
Ritalin, I'm gonna shut you down right there. Fuck off.
Out of all the things I've said on this podcast, that is the one way to get Dominic mad. I will keep that as a note.
How dare you
Neutral Milk Hotel sucks. Done.
At least you didn't say it was better than Weekend Run Club. Is there anything else to say? It's pretentious at parts. It's cool at other parts. I really like some of the songs. I don't like some of the others.
I mean,
it's a pop album masquerading as a pretentious indie album, and I like that.
I think she has some talent and that she could have some of her songs be really big hits, but I haven't really heard much about this album outside of doing it for the podcast, so I don't know how it's doing.
Me either.
And Trix pretty much said what I was going to say, except, again, I personally don't really enjoy this album and did not grab me at all, but if other people grab it, it grabs... I can't think of a sentence. If other people are grabbed by this album, then yeah. It's not the worst thing I've ever heard. That still goes to LSD.
I should go back and listen to that album.
Oh God, do you really want to?
I'm half tempted. I'm like my.
At the very least,
Green Day's Father of All versus LSD's LSD.
A bullet to the brain wins.
Father of All.
The ultimate showdown.
My thing is between LSD or Wolf Parade. I think Wolf Parade is even worse than Father of All.
Look, I would say I probably prefer LSD over Father of All. Because at least when both of those albums, I would say, are probably the same bad quality, where they're in a point where I'm not trying to judge them in quality, they're just bad. But at least LSD was trying something.
I feel like Green Day could have had some potential if they wrote the album for somebody else and them record it and had them put their own.
If LSD and Green Day collaborated together, that'd be great. I'd love to see that.
We could end the podcast.
Yep. The day that happens, we're just gonna cover that album and that album only, and then we'll just never talk to each other again. There's nothing else to say.
That's also the best way to wrap up our Allie X discussion.
It's about LSD and Green Day.
Yeah. Best song, I can't remember. Worst song, I can't remember. Actually, no. Best song is Susie Save Your Love because Reddit told me so.
This song is Love Me Wrong, first of all. Love Me Wrong is The vocals on
Oh.
that song with Troye Sivan are so fucking electric and powerful that I get shivers and I have to replay it at least once whenever I hear it.
That is a good song.
If you were to make a joke about fucking any musician, would it be Troye Sivan?
I mean, make a joke.
Well, there you go.
Define comedy.
Chick's
No.
favorite, least favorite.
My least favorite's also probably
Just-
regular.
just Just before Dominic gets any more lawsuits for this, I'm the one who gets the lawsuits, alright? That's my stick.
I didn't spend enough time with this album there were a lot of highlights. I'm like, oh, like Devil I Know had like an interesting intro. June Gloom had an interesting intro. Just like, oh, I'm just remembering intros and like fading out on the rest of the song because I'm playing Animal Crossing or whatever. But
This is now an Animal Crossing podcast. Thank you all for listening.
Apples on my island. What do you got?
I got cherries.
pears.
It's cherries, pears. At least we're all diverse.
The most diverse podcast.
Yes.
We can meet up in Animal Crossing. That'll be like our meeting up in real life. That's the closest probably ever come.
Yeah, well, like I said, I made my character wear an acid, like one of those kind of acid t-shirts that are kind of all rainbow colors kind of mixed up, and has shades, rose in the hair, very long kind of dark hair, and a skirt. So I think my character looks a bit too much like Trix.
Yeah, my character is just kind of still in the stock outfit right now. The only thing I added was I made a sexual flag hat.
Sexual flag hat. Got it.
My brother added a Joy Division t-shirt.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Still pretty default stuff. I'm not big for customization, so I don't know if I'm going to change it very much, but we'll see.
Anyway, next album, Tame Impala or Beach Bunny. Someone else choose him.
Let's do Beach Bunny.
All right, this album was okay. I chose this at a different point in my life. And oh my god, every time I hear it, I just hear my ex. Just, oh god, I can't explain it, but like all of the shit she says just sounds like the justification my abusive ex-girlfriend used to say. It's a bit hard for me to listen to.
Yeah, like we chose these albums like 4 weeks ago, so this is a very different time. We were not in lockdown for the COVID thing back then.
Yeah.
No, we were not.
My quick summary of this album, just before we get more in depth. The opening track is genuinely great. It's actually currently one of my most played tracks of the year. Like, and I don't just mean out of songs that came out this year. I just mean in general. The rest of the album doesn't fall into that quality, and whilst there was actually quite a lot of highlights, there were some very tiring tropes on this album. And the short runtime doesn't really make up for some of the repetitiveness.
Yeah, my thing was gonna say was that number one, I like the first track, but the first track is the whole album. Number two,
Yeah.
This band should just be called Lily and the Beach Bunnies.
Pretty much.
It's just Lily. They're there because they were doing a battle of the bands and she needed a band, and so she got a band, but it's really just her.
Yeah. I will say I would like to give like a real good shout out.
What?
Which is just like a lo-fi like Casio kind of like default Casio keyboard setting and her voice, and I just really vibe with that for some reason.
Do you like the way her voice is mixed with the instruments? There's something that's she kind of comes above it all, and she really makes her voice stand out, which is nice.
Yeah, she does.
It's hard to remember all the songs when all the songs kind of sound the same, whether there's a band or not. Like some of them are kind of acoustic, and some of them, I think, which song was it? It was Rear View, where the band came in at the last like 25 seconds of the song, and that was cool. Like a whole acoustic thing.
Like I say, Rear View is probably one of the other highlights on here. I would say as a whole, I actually prefer this to a lot of the previous stuff that I'd heard from Beach Bunny. Because I heard of them a couple of years back, I think back when they released Sports. I kind of just really kind of only really knew that song. I think I listened to a couple of the other ones, like just once or twice, but it didn't really grab me. So I'd say I still come out of this album kind of pleasantly surprised, but ultimately it's just another pop rock debut.
Yeah.
Go on, Jay.
I will say her best song isn't on this album. It's off of Prom Queen. And her best song is...
The best song is what?
Adulting.
Okay.
Adulting.
That sounds like a song she would write.
Yeah.
I feel like I should be more into this album because number one, they're a Chicago band. Number two, they've been to like Coachella and Riot Fest already. Don't really get how or why, because I feel like they're like at least on par with like Adult Mom and Petite League, and I feel like they're getting more attention. But yeah,
I'd say Adult Mom.
I can hear you.
I'd say Adult Mom and Petite League are better.
We absolutely. Absolutely. I will say, speaking of Petite League, Dream Boy reminded me a lot of Ghost 1998 for some reason. Because she's singing about a ghost in her apartment, and then that's just about a ghost. But Ghost 1998 is a better song still.
Yeah. Even though Anna Lorenzo recorded it when he was like 3 or 5 or whatever.
Yeah. And then he just recorded a new version of it, which is really cute.
Yeah.
And some of the tropes also that like are kind of very annoying on this album. It is look, if there was a subreddit to describe this album, it's Arshash not like the other girls.
Yeah, there was the Miss California, which seemed to be about, oh, you dumped me for a California girl. I want to be like her now. Okay. To be kind of the opposite.
Even though that's supposed to be the sarcastic part of I want to be that girl, that's still heavily implying like, oh, I'm not like the others or anything like that.
Now, between Miss California,
there's nothing wrong. I'm just gonna quickly say with breakup songs being a driving force for an album. I mean, over the course of music's history, some of the greatest albums of all time have been breakup albums. But there's nothing new about this. It's just a pop rock thing. And the tropes are kind of just like, well, yeah.
The one thing I'm disappointed
in,
I'm disappointed in one thing about this album. It's that they stepped away from like the surf rock past that they used to have. Because a lot of their past stuff was like pretty surfy and like, there is like some drip to that. But this just is like completely indie pop.
I was reminded of Taco Cat as well. Speaking of other things you've had us listen to.
Yeah, I have a genre. I don't know if you guys have noticed.
No, I couldn't possibly have noticed.
I was surprised because I know their big song is Prom Queen, and that was like that's been like a big TikTok song. Yeah, was kind of their big breakout.
I didn't know that.
I was looking into like I do.
Yeah.
And it was apparently super huge on TikTok, and it was about body positivity, and that got a lot of attention. And then we have songs like Miss California and Cloud 9, which are kind of, I feel like, a regression from that. Where Cloud 9 seems to be, was it?
You're telling me that having a go at other types of girls is not a good form of body positivity and could actually just be hurting everyone?
I mean, Cloud 9 especially, where it's kind of just like, oh man, he makes me feel so good when he compliments me. I kind of die for that. And then when he doesn't, I feel bad. And that's like the most positive song on the album.
And again, for an album as well, it goes to 25 minutes. It shouldn't feel as repetitive as it is.
I don't want to like minimize her feelings about things, because I was reading an interview where she wrote the material like a couple of years ago. They recorded it last year, and by the time everything's come out, she talks about how she doesn't really relate to it anymore. Because she wrote it.
Goodly.
Right, she wrote it during like a breakup, and she probably was kind of dealing with her emotions that way, which I totally get. That's fine.
Pretty much all of her past songs were breakup songs too. Like,
Pretty much every musician's past songs are breakup songs.
Fair. But off of Crybaby, boys will be boys, but you're not like the others.
Wow, that's a
Is
song title?
one of the actual lines.
Oh, that's a line. Okay.
February is what were the lyrics to February? But it was something like along the same line.
Yeah. So, yeah, when I hear stuff like, I want to be supportive. And I think stuff like Prom Queen, from what I've heard of it, it seems like a really cool, thing, and good of her to do it. I know she was talking about in interviews, Lily at least was talking about being nervous of releasing that song because it was so different. And I don't know, is this like a return to form in a sense? I'm not sure. I mean, like, I'm a gay dude. Like, what do I know about this kind of stuff, I guess? But like, it just struck me the wrong way,
Yeah, this album is hard for me to listen to now.
What I said, or just in general?
Like,
yes, the other stuff. I
now,
totally forgot for a second. I'm sorry.
That's okay. And then, but like February lyrics. But if you called and you asked me to stay, would you give me the world or walk out in a day? Because I'm so afraid that if I let you in, when the going gets rough, will you leave me again? It's like
I will say one positive thing. Racetrack is the best Minecraft fan song I've heard in a long time.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's the summary of this album in a nutshell. And Fred.
Oh God. Oh, it killed me. I wasn't expecting that.
Worst song?
Worst song is Miss California, without a doubt. That's just...
worst track's Cloud 9.
Best track, I say without a doubt, is Promises. I think that's probably actually the best track out of all three albums.
Oh, okay.
Whoa!
Was that a soundboard?
They didn't put
that
Patience
was
on
like
the
me,
Tame.
that was me actually burping.
Shit, all right.
If they put Patience on the Tame Impala record, then maybe it would have a different story.
I don't know. I think Rearview was kind of cool, and Racetrack because it's Minecraft, but I don't know. Promises was fine. It didn't... And then like Cloud 9, I guess, and Miss California were just disappointments because they just felt so shallow, and I don't want to be like that, but like that's kind of how I just felt about them. Like, I get it, you're dealing with a lot, you have emotions and feelings, and you're expressing them.
It's alright. We understand what you're saying, Dominic. Here, it's all good. Dominic says women are shallow. Sorry, just thinking of a new title for the episode.
That's how we blow up on Reddit. That's how we blow up on Reddit. I get canceled.
Imagine getting cancelled before you ever actually get started.
Welcome to Dissonant Waves.
Oh
man. Tricks.
Best song off this album, I still think is the Minecraft fan song. There's just something about like that keyboard that it's like a stock Casio 80s keyboard. Just like I have one in my corner of my room. I might just go drag out and try and like just show you guys it's like stock piano. But it's I like it for mechanics.
I will also say Coughing Season and Review, they both get points because I like the tune. However, they also are just a repeat of the same theme of Promises.
Yeah, like and
I like the build up in Review too. Even if it's just a short outro, it's a pretty good outro. Coughing Season has some kind of alright, somewhat catchy hooks to it. I mean, there's catchiness is not a problem with this album, but
stuff. But like,
yeah,
a lot of it sounds the same.
Promises is the only one I think I'm going to be listening to at the end of the year, if I am still listening to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be listening to this album much longer.
I think I'm gonna listen to some of her past stuff.
Bad stuff?
Past stuff.
Oh, okay. What was your least favorite song? You didn't say anything.
That was Cloudboy. Or Cloud9.
Oh, right.
I got the last two. Yeah,
Game
no,
Boy.
Trick said Cloud9.
Okay.
Yeah, Cloud9. Just oh god, I get like bad vibes from that song.
Yeah, because when I was saying the worst song, Trix was like, no, it's Cloud9.
That's right. I forget. Oh no, I'm forgetful. We should dig out that 6.5 hour Alzheimer's thing.
Oh no, he's getting it at 25.
I feel like a 6.5 hour album about Alzheimer's. Anyone with Alzheimer's would forget that they were listening to it around 3 hours in.
I think closer to 2 hours.
Oh, it's good for something, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I should throw in some context on the Alzheimer's. We're doing a shit post, not for next week, but the week after. We're doing like our late April Fool's shit post album, and I thought it was going to be next week, and so I just kind of posted my album in the chat, and it's a 6.5 hour album by The Caretaker called "Everywhere at the End of Time," and it's about Alzheimer's.
Yeah, that's
Moving
a real
on.
shitpost.
Tame Impala, The Slow Rush, the longest album of the week.
Also, the best title to describe my reaction to it.
I could not connect with this album or how hard.
That's where I was at the beginning of listening to it. I did not connect with it at all.
So I'm just going to quickly explain the Tame Impala timeline here. 2008, EP comes out. It's fantastic. 2011 or 2010, Inner Speaker comes out. Fantastic. 2012, Lonerism comes out. Fantastic. 2015, Currents comes out. People keep claiming it's fantastic, but like half of the songs off that album are incredible, and the other half is Wankerfest. The Slow Rush, it's better than Currents as an album, but doesn't have as much standout tracks. There's the Tame Impala timeline. Thank you.
It definitely doesn't have as much...
In 2015, he also did a Kylie Minogue cover. Very important.
Definitely not as much standout tracks as I would have expected, because I've heard Tame Impala's name everywhere, but I've never listened to Tame Impala. It's just one of those things.
When I got into Lonerism, like I said before this podcast, you got to notice a huge change in not only sound, but quality.
I am very intrigued by this album, because the first time I listened to it, I did not connect with it at all, like I said, and then coming back to it in the last couple days, something like clicked with it for me. And I feel
it's a lot less psychedelic than Kevin Parker usually is. And but it's a lot more like electronic / kind of more. It's kind of more going into the kind of disco vibe that he brought in Currents.
Yes. It reminds me of
Especially with songs like Borderline.
It reminds me of Justice and Daft Punk, and that it would be the thing I was obsessed with in college. Absolutely.
Mm.
So I need to sit down with this album and really give it a go, because I feel like I could become obsessed with it on the other side, but it's gonna take weeks of listening to it over and over.
Yeah, it seems like a hard album to get into, because I listened to it 3 or 4 times in a night, and I could not get it.
The first song that really clicked in for me was Posthumous Forgiveness.
Yeah, I believe that's the one about his dead father.
Oh wow, okay. But it's really soulful and 70s inspired, and it the hook of it just sounds really cool, and it just put me in an emotional place that I couldn't really describe. It was just I vibed with it, and I couldn't really write down how.
I think it is supposed to be quite an emotional song. Actually, I think it is supposed to be the emotional moment of this album.
Oh, absolutely. And then it has a part 2, which is really strange, and it's a repeat throughout this album. Just the songs just click over into something else, it's a radio being turned to a different station. I don't know what that really means, but that and Breathe Deeper and a couple others, I think, kind of have that going on.
Like I said, this is definitely more consistent and better of an album than Currents was, and I do actually agree as well that this gets a bit more enjoyable on more listens, and when you kind of start to realize what every song is kind of bringing. Songs like Borderline, which are different in the single, have kind of changed up a bit here, and it's a bit. I've actually enjoyed Borderline a lot more than when it came out.
Really? Okay.
Because I wasn't too hot on Borderline when it first came out, but it's kind of more grabbed and grown on me, and it's been a bit more
Caroline is the very
bit more fun.
Justice-y song for sure.
Mm.
Like it reminds me of the album Woman, which we'll get to eventually. It's also very Bag Raiders-y because they kind of carry that kind of where they do stuff like Lazy and where they like dip into like the 70s disco Bee Gees stuff, which I really appreciate. And Incandescent too has a lot of Beach Boys influence.
I would say my favorite song off this album is probably either that Borderline or what I'm going to go into now, Lost in Yesterday, which is another one of those fun ones that kind of stand out. It's kind of got the same vibe that Borderline does.
Yeah, it was different. It was that one wasn't my favorite, but it had kind of like I don't know, that one reminded me of like Phil Collins or something. I don't know why, but I thought of Genesis and Phil Collins. On Track was cool. I really like On Track because it kind of reminded me of like a good like credits theme to a movie, where everything kind of comes together and like the emotional moment happens and it cuts the credits and this is just playing over it.
So I was just watching that Madonna thing that Trix linked in the chat. That's fucking cringe as fuck.
Oh my god,
I didn't watch
is.
that.
You gotta go watch. Ooh.
Why did Hillary think that she was going to just win in 2016 without actually campaigning?
No, her campaigning was her just saying.
I'm the next president. That was her fucking campaign.
Her campaign was just, I'm going to win, right? Just let me win. All right.
Yeah.
And
it's a fucking shit campaign. Holy.
We're gonna tool it against him.
How did she win the fucking popular vote?
Surely you would have. Well, she won
the popular vote.
Because people are desperate.
It's not like I'm here.
Trump.
People generally like Obama. People hated Trump.
Yeah, it honestly just seemed like an election that I thought people were just going to go like, no, I don't like either of them. I'm not voting. But
that's going to be this election as well. I'm pretty sure.
Yep. And the only difference is that Republicans don't care if they like their candidate or not.
This time there's a pandemic, so who knows how voting's going to go.
Everyone dies. Fucking best way to doing it.
I need to sign up for.
You need to do it the way that that planet with the 3 suns does it in Futurama. The emperors who ever killed the previous one.
We're gonna vote by mail.
Whoever drinks them.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like
at least my assassin will get what's coming to them.
What else? Glimmer was cool. Glimmer had some kind of Muzak-y vibes, which I really dig. I like a secret thing with Muzak and like elevator music.
Yeah. What's the quote that it starts with? Hold on, I'm gonna search that up. I probably should have. Get on that.
The quotes and like studio speak they have in this album are really like the quality isn't super great, so I don't know what they're saying ever, but it's interesting.
Here we go. Here's the quote. It's like, oh, bass, cool. You know how you make the bass better? Crank the bass up. You want to make the kick drum better? Just crank the bass up. And it's like, no, not really.
Play better.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the lyrics is, I just want to let it go. But I mean, it's a short kind of filler song.
I really vibe with it. It was super cool.
Well, as far as filler songs go, at least it's all right. It's short.
More hour.
It's short. It's not a shitty skit. It's actually just like a kind of flow and in between of 2 songs, which is how a filler song should be.
I feel like One More Year and One More Hour are supposed to be like the bookends for some emotional reason, but like One More Year is like clearly the better song. One More Hour just kind of is there as like a closer because that's what it sounds like. It's a closer, but doesn't really do much.
The very important part. So Trix, you said you can't get into Tame Impala, right?
Yeah.
Now, have you ever had your heart broken in high school?
No.
That would be why. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of abided by the ace rule even in high school, and I didn't know it was fun.
If you don't have your heart broken in high school, you can't get into Kevin Parker.
I guess
it's just like not being able to get into what was the other band? It's like lose your liver to the drink. You posted like a whole copy.
Fingers.
So what?
What was the Sticky Finger? Hold
Um,
up. I'm
was it
searching
Blend
this
In?
up. No, it wasn't.
Luca
I'm just
Brasi?
searching liver.
Luca Brasi?
Nope.
Oh
Well,
man.
Sticky
Yeah.
Fingers isn't drink until you lose your liver. Sticky Fingers is drink until you lose your career.
I think it was Luca Brasi.
Yes, I didn't connect getting my heart broken in high school with this album, but now I will, thanks.
Yeah, got to go back to high school just to get your heart broken. You got to study for these albums. Come on.
One day I'll get over those feelings. Not today, but one day.
The more joke about that though is that's literally what the song "The Less I Know the Better" is about. It's pretty much the definition of a high school breakup.
Who also writes about high school and breakups and all that stuff? Green Day. Father by Motherfucker.
Fucking
Out now.
Okay, I'm reminded right now of completely unrelated side tangent. I'm reminded of the song Christine 16 by Kiss.
Okay.
And they still fucking perform it at 60 whatever they are right now, or 70 whatever. And there's like a talking line where they're just like, and I saw you walking out of school when I was in my car. Let me see if I can find these fucking lyrics.
You know what I love about these high school kids? I keep getting older, they stay the same age.
Whenever I bring up Kiss, you're in for a bad time.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. What was the controversy about them?
All frauds? I don't know.
Let's see. He endorsed Mitt Romney. Blah blah blah. I've seen worse ones.
Gene Simmons has tried to copyright the fucking devil horn.
Uh,
That was right.
Go back to Allie.
He's banned from Fox and Friends because he yanked his shirt. So he went to promote a new book, but shortly afterward, he burst into a staff meeting uninvited, yanking his shirt and telling jokes. The next day, he got banned for life.
Oh, okay. Can we go back to LAX for a second? Because there was something I really wanted to bring up, but I totally forgot.
Sure thing.
Do you remember the song "Life of the Party"?
Yes.
Is that a rape song, or am I crazy?
Let's find out. Life of the Party, LAX.
No one's talking about it, but I'm pretty sure it is.
I got the Shawn Mendes track.
It's a really catchy song, and I'm so shocked. It's like a whole thing about like being raped at a party.
Yeah, no, that's definitely about being raped.
So I was clever when I'm tipsy. Even when I nodded out, I was the center of the attention. Holy fuck!
They stripped me down.
They stripped me down like a Barbie.
Yeah.
They say I kissed a king, but I don't remember anything. Yeah, no, that's a rape song.
Oh god!
And our new favorite game, is it a rape song? Has anyone got like a sound effect?
He scratched my face with stubble. I woke up on the shuttle singing. That's the life of the party.
Listen to the song though. It is one of the most catchiest songs on the album. It is deceptive as fuck.
Here I was thinking that this was just a family-friendly album.
Like,
look what they've done to me.
This again goes back to my I don't quite get what she's doing, but it's a catchy song that I like listening to, but it's also just like so fucking, you know. You could turn on the song and in the background of a party, and people will have a good time until they listen to the lyrics.
Alright, so I think I know what the controversy about Gene Simmons himself was, and I think it was during 2011 when a lot of artists refused to perform in Israel due to political reasons. He seemed to be on the incredibly opposite side. I forgot what happened in 2011.
Perform in Israel?
I'm pretty sure
Yeah, go Trix.
He'd do anything for money. This is fucking
Remember those
Simmons we're talking.
I think what was it? What's the fucking what's the cone ice cream again?
Drumsticks?
Cone of ice cream.
Yeah, I think it's like drumstick. Yeah. There's also another one, but I think it was drumstick. It was where Kiss did a did a deal with them, and it was like Kiss drumsticks. They were here in Australia.
You can get
Kiss ice cream. Oh no, it was even worse.
Condom.
Here we go. No, it was with Peters. Here it is. The Kiss ice cream. Tricks, I'm gonna trust you to make that the cover up.
Okay.
Look
There
at
was
that
another
beautiful
artist.
ice cream.
There was
Doesn't
another
that
artist.
just look appealing?
Looks disgusting, but that's neither here nor there.
I'm pretty sure it was very fucking disgusting.
Oh, wait, I got one up on you, man.
Oh no, the Marlboro ice cream. Remind me to send that to my partner after the episode. You get free. You don't get. You only get free.
Yeah, for
And-
$10.
Look, just by the way that they spell condom there,
Yeah.
I would have just preferred if they called this Kiss Crazy Condoms.
Okay.
You know, and then you put the little white hood on. And...
I mean, you're putting.
And you get the Kiss
a little bit
coffins
on.
for the end.
Yeah, they make Kiss coffins. Dimebag Darrell was married in one. But I would just like to describe what we are looking at for our listeners. We are looking at a pack of condoms with Gene Simmons' face and tongue on them, so it goes all along your shaft.
Oh, never show me this again. With that, favorites and least favorite from the Tame Impala record.
I gotta say about the whole playing in Israel thing. Radiohead also played in Israel when everyone was backing out. So that thing.
Yeah, Radiohead will play wherever.
New York likes to fashion himself as like political man of some sort.
But
That's
they won't
surprising.
play Creep.
They played Creep once, like this whole decade.
Yeah.
2020s.
Last decade.
Anyway, best songs, least songs. Let's take a look.
Blender.
I like Posthumous Forgiveness, and I like what is it? Glamour, Glitter. Can't remember right now.
Glimmer.
Or
Favorite is probably Lost in Yesterday. And least favorite, probably Instant Destiny. I can't remember that one for shit. I think it was the least forgettable. It was the most forgettable.
I think, according to my notes, Lost in Yesterday was my least favorite. So there's that.
Oof. And Tricks
So
has
cool.
called it a blunder.
Yeah, for me at least. I'll spend some more time with it, but it's a total blunder.
And with that, and the Kiss condoms, that has been Dissonant Waves for a week. Let's get into
Hold on.
the next week's albums.
Yeah, we got stuff to talk about still. Number one, what's the one song to listen to this week of all these things we listened to?
Beach Bunny's Promises. It's a standout, but it's
Tricks?
a standout.
Yeah, I'd say that too.
I think Love Me Wrong by Allie and Troye Sivan is the standout song. Fuck all y'all.
Life of the Party.
It's a good,
Albums.
catchy song, except for the lyrics. You know, it's a little rougher then, but you know.
Albums and ranking, number 3, I'd put Allie. Number 2, I'd put Beach Bunny, although they're pretty close together. And number 1 is Tame Impala for me.
Number 3, Beach Bunny. Number 2, Tame Impala. Number 1, Allie. But it's not there's no true number 1 this week, I don't think. Just
Yeah, they're all
by-
kind of even. We picked like mediocre albums.
Some of them are a little bit better, some of them a little bit worse, but yeah.
For me, I'm gonna go Tame Impala, Beach Bunny.
I think
Allie
as
X
time
top?
goes on, as time goes on, you'll probably see Tame Impala become Trix's number 2 there, but
Probably, maybe even no.
and
Who
number 1
brings
obviously
us-
being Allie. Just Trix has kind of died out there.
Yeah.
Next week, I have chosen Down to Earth by electronic duo Flight Facilities. That is all.
Interesting things. We did a vote or whatever, right?
Yeah, we did a vote on like 6 different artists that you could choose from. And
This
you all
didn't
said
win.
Flight Facilities.
Oh, we did say Flight Facilities. That's right. Oh, I'm excited then. This was like over a week ago, or over a month ago, so I couldn't really remember. But then I'm good. We're good. My pick is our first live album, which is Live at Jittery Joe's by Jeff Mangum. It's the bridge between Avery Island and the airplane over the sea. It is a crucial chapter. It's interesting for me both in just like the song construction because it's between albums, so some of the songs are a little bit different. And I think Jeff Mangum, just from his album, is one of the best acoustic performers around. It's my favorite live album. So there you go.
Trix, what have you chosen?
I am choosing Dr. Dog's "Be the Void." I need a happy album. This album I just listened to with just a big old smile on my.
Well, that's good because Be the Void arrived in my mail the other day. So
good.
Really?
Yeah.
How about that? Dr. Dog.
Where's it end at? Because Spotify only has the deluxe edition.
Yeah. It hold up.
Once we're doing that, I am Ritalin. You can catch me at my website, Ritalin for Kids at github.io. You can also view my YouTube channel, which I publish nothing onto because, yeah, that would be linked in the description below.
It ends at turning the century.
Ends at turning the century.
Okay, so we'll just do that. I was waiting for stuff on that. Anyway, I'm Dominic. You can catch me at Twitter at DACICHOCKI. I sometimes write things for tiltingwindmillstudios.com, so catch me there if you like. Also, Dissonant Waves is on Twitter, so follow us at Dissonant Waves. And you can catch us on our website, our new fun website at dissonantwaves.space.
And Trix is also here.
Yes, I've been Trix. You can catch me on my Twitter at procrastinaut_, like procrastinate. And
yeah, that's some
procrastinating procrastinaut.
Yes.
Trix is kind of like dying out here, so I'm just gonna say.
My mic was just like far away from my face. Apologies. And you can catch me on YouTube at Moonchild or whatever the fuck it is. It'll be linked in the description.
It has 7 more subscribers than we do.
Yes.
Is that supposed to be a laugh or a cry or both at the same time?
Yes. Anyway, that's
catch you all next.
This is the Dissonant Waves, and we're losing our sanity.
Bye.
Coronavirus week 1. Goodbye.
I forgot to queue up Craig.
Bye, Craig. We'll miss you.